Coming up at the end of the hour into the fourth hour, we're going to open the phones up. In fact, I'm going to give the number out right now. Your questions for Roger Stone about all things election 2016 and what's happening with Trump. But when this election's over, I'm flying you back to Austin. I want to do 2-3 hours with you just about the whole history of the Republican Party in the modern age, Nixon, you know, all the books you've written on those subjects, and just all the interesting lore that Roger Stone has for us, and inside views and perspectives. But I was thinking during the break about censorship again before we get back into the medical issues and how they respond, because the two stories go together. Bezos of Amazon, who admits he's a Clinton worshiper, another multi-billionaire, socialist, owns the Washington Post and makes it even worse than it was before.
Which is hard to do.
Which is hard to do, but with Graham running it before. Now,
the worst newspaper in America.
Now we've got Carlos Slim, who owned part of it. Now he's the majority owner of the New York Times.
And the largest single donor to the Clinton Foundation and the Clinton Global Initiative. He's #1.
Engaged in incredible disinformation. But no wonder they want to censor us and now admit they want to shut us down with a 6% national trust rating in an AP study of tens of thousands of respondents. It's bigger than just wanting to shut us down. We have to understand. I mean, I'm not bragging. InfoWars reaches 28 million people a week. This radio show, just on terrestrial radio, 3 million people a day. Over 5 million YouTube views, over 3 or 4 million Facebook views a day. You add it all together, it's much bigger than 28 million. That's conservative. These people are a joke, and they already know they've collapsed. Roger Stone, that only means it's that much worse. They are coming to shut us down, like Matt Drudge said.
Yeah, no, I think their plan is painfully obvious. Here's the difference between what we're seeing now and everything I've seen in 8 previous presidential campaigns. In the past, the media pretended to be objective. They still tried to screw the conservative candidate, but all the time pretending to be objective. Now, they've dropped all pretense of trying to be objective. It is hysterical in their efforts to get Donald Trump, to smear him, to distort what he says, to magnify minor mistakes that he's made. He's not a career politician, as he said the other day, which I think was actually very positive. He doesn't always get it exactly right, but when he makes a small mistake, they magnify it out of all proportion. When Hillary gets caught taking bribes or lying, they barely cover it. In fact, most cases, they don't cover it at all. They've dropped all pretense of being objective. Now, they just seek to stop the reform candidacy of Donald Trump because it scares the daylights out of them. He would bust up the K Street, Wall Street combine.
None of them are giving him any money. That is the total certification. He's the real deal.
Yeah, yesterday's finance report showed him at $38 million cash on hand. In retrospect, it may become clear if he raises the same amount in, say, the next 80 days, which is probable, that he would have been better off taking public finance and then running as much fundraising he could through affiliated super PACs, as Hillary has done with her super PACs. He would have gotten $100 million from public finance without raising a dime, and he would.
That was your recommendation, wasn't it?
I did recommend that, yes, and I think it's going to be borne out as he would have had more net dollars for the fight had he done so. Well, no, the establishment has zipped their wallets.
This is so colossal. I overuse the word epic, but this is the epic of epic. This is the creme de la creme, where the evil, corrupt Pope, the evil, corrupt Chinese president, the evil, corrupt Mexican president, the Saudi corrupt filth, royal family, every festering nest of corruption and evil hates Donald Trump, every global combine, every stinking hedge fund. And then the moron fake liberals run around behind Hillary. But a lot of them I talk to actually aren't morons and are supporting Trump because they know Sanders was stolen. I think that's really the missing army that will put Trump over the top, and that's why I think there's election fraud if he doesn't win.
This is why the candidacy of both Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate, and Gary Johnson, the Libertarian Party candidate, are so important. The criteria of the Presidential Commission on Debates, which is, by the way, not appointed by the president, not a commission, and not about debates. It's headed by a former Republican national chairman and Democratic national chairman. Their goal, keep everybody else out of the political discussion. Now, I think progressive voters would vote for Jill Stein, given the screwing of Bernie Sanders without Vaseline, according to the the WikiLeaks documents where Deborah Wasserman Schultz was a mole for the Clintons, if they knew that her candidacy existed. She has gotten on the ballot in 44 states.
All I see is leftist groups attacking her, but that's because they're not real leftist groups.
No, it's McCarthyism. That's McCarthyism. She's a legitimate candidate. Governor Gary Johnson's a legitimate candidate. They should be in these debates, first of all. It is outrageous to not include them.
Sure.
Using some phony polling number creates the chicken and egg situation where they can't get to 15% because they're not in the debate, and they can't get in the debate because they're not at 15%. The criteria should be, how many states are you on the ballot on?
Sure, but we can never break the two-headed monster duopoly, so Trump finally came in and has done that. He's taken over the Republican Party in a libertarian populist insurrection, and that's why everyone needs to support him, including Sanders people. We'll be back. Thousands of years ago, there was a basic form of chivalry. Our ancestors would hear the drums of war, giving the warriors of the tribe a chance to organize and prepare a defense. 60 years ago, when foreign air forces were approaching filled with bombs, they had drums of their own, air raid sirens. But in the 21st century, there are silent weapons for quiet war. Pathogens added to the food and water, and to the lining of plastics that destroy our vitality, turn off our hormones, and accelerate our journey towards death. I personally counter this onslaught with Anthroplex. Anthroplex is designed with known organic concentrated herbs to create the basic foundation to normal metabolic activity inside the human body. Discover why Anthroplex is turning so many heads today. It's time for us to take our bodies back into our own hands, and it starts at InfoWarsLife.com with Anthroplex.